Aloha and good morning. We're going to continue our series on addiction. Now, one of the big questions you may want to ask yourself, do you even think you have an addiction or addictions? Look throughout the day what you do. I don't care if it's how many cigarette breaks you take, how many times you are on the internet, okay? How many times you have drama in your day. How much time do you spend in the kitchen? Okay, all these different factors are very important to look at because a lot of the services that you're doing to yourself, you're not doing yourself any favor. You just don't know it. Remember, what else do you spend your time with? Do you spend your time exercising, stretching, reading, learning? Okay, remember, there's other addictions. Some addictions are good, and some addictions are not so good. So, really observing the time that you spend. Look how much time it takes for someone who eats 6 to 7 times a day like I used to, okay, thinking that it was good for me. So, eating small meals a day, spending hours in the kitchen, okay. Now since I've tuned myself, most of my addictions down, and of course we all have addictions in our own ways, I spend minimal time in the kitchen because I don't need that much fuel and my body stays in very tip-top shape. It becomes very efficient and it doesn't need all that excess baggage. I eat 1 meal a day. I have my breakfast tea in the morning. I have a variety of liquids. One of the liquids I love to drink is my blue-green algae with minerals and silica. And I have a variety of different liquids, not smoothies throughout the day or anything. And if you have to have a smoothie, then have one. Remember, in time, you'll find out that your body becomes way more efficient and more vital when you don't eat throughout the day. I have 1 meal at night, and I have my probiotics throughout the day, my bacteria that I drink, my ferments, different kombuchas, or whatever it would be that way, as much as I want. So I put chia seeds in a lot of my stuff. Remember, an addiction is a word sometimes that we don't really want to look at because we don't even think we have one. We just look at drug addicts, okay, or we look at gambling addicts, okay. These are addictions, and there's all different layers of them. So cleaning up your act is mainly just actually observing your act that you have at this time. Look and see what you do all day, okay? You'd be surprised how much time we spend servicing our addictions. And what do you get out of it? Really, weigh and measure what you're doing. A simple addiction that most people have, just did a video on, are you a sugaraholic? People that actually have an infestation, and an infestation means way more of them than you, of yeast, mold, fungus, candidas, all different types of things that actually process sugar and or process foods that are dead, like fast foods, dead foods, okay? So once you rid yourself, and I like to say, instead of rid, pass your yeast, mold, fungus, different parasites that are basically, you wouldn't believe how much time you spend taking care of them. Mommy, I'm hungry. They're living inside you. They're manipulating your nervous system. You think you're hungry, but you're really not. They're hungry. So the addictions, remember, are sometimes not even physical. A lot of times these addictions, they're ethereal. Ethereal meaning that there's not a parasite that's physical, that's feeding on a materialistic object. It's feeding on feelings, emotions, energy and motion, okay? Emotions. 80% of your energy field is filled up with emotions, okay? Sometimes it's a blessing and sometimes it's a curse. So if you don't have a handle or a control of your emotions, then you can see that there's a lot of dysfunctionality just from not having control of your emotions. And you don't even know really what your emotions are because you've never had control of them. Most people, remember, have the addictions are controlling the emotions are controlling the addictions. So really cleaning up your act and changing your diet, exercising, breathing through the nose. Remember the chi breathing is very smart. Okay, it reforms your nervous system. Your nervous system is what controls your addictions. Cigarette and a cup of coffee. That's a dual addiction, as you could say, or a dual movement, because one without the other doesn't make sense. No cigarette, no coffee, no coffee, no cigarette. Okay? Coffee and a cigarette. Okay, that's what people, it's called neuronet programming. And we get a lot of neuronet programming going to school. Okay, neuronet programming you at an early age to learn that it's your duty to work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, maybe 6 days a week. And if you want to really get ahead, you're going to have to work like my dad says, 2 jobs, maybe 3 jobs, like I did. Okay, so you can't get ahead in this world by having a lot of addictions. Why? Because it takes up most of our time doing a lot of things that realistically, making money's an addiction. What are you doing with it? Look at all the people on the planet that have tons of money. Okay? And look at all the people on the planet that have nothing. Is there a balance here? Maybe to their favor, but there's no balance. So to bring balance to yourself will bring balance more to the planet. Why? Because you start to see the insanity only when you get space in your reality. If that makes sense to you, then you want to try cutting down first. You know, if you're smoking, remember, that's an addiction. You're going to have to deal with that. Are you getting anything out of it, or are you just feeding an entity that lives inside you every hour, 45 minutes? Okay? How do you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day? You're not really smoking. You're feeding your microbes. How could you eat 5 candy bars in a day, a couple of sodas, bread that's loaded full of sugar? At night you have another spaghetti sauce that's loaded full of sugar. What do you think you're growing? Yeast, mold, fungus, candida. Sugar-eating monsters. So tapering down your sugar load is very smart. Okay, tapering down your tobacco, alcohol, okay, gambling, I don't care what it is. Make some space so you can actually grow. If not, we're busy doing a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's not really giving us any purpose. Remember, the addictions are energy fields. They're semi-autonomous energy fields. They change layers. They do periodically feed. They do need to be nourished once you ignite them in yourself. So if you smoke for 2 weeks, guess what? You've got the smoking microbe that now can break down nicotine. And if you don't feed it, it just changes over fuels and goes to eating sugar, and you gain 10 pounds when you stop smoking. Does that make sense to you? Remember, these are microbes. Once you bring colony, lots of them, to life, a little here and there, they don't get a chance to really, do anything to you. But if you constantly feed something, if you constantly take care of something, and that's why you take care of feeding your microbes inside your body, then in time you have what's called obesity. You have what's called diabetes. You have what's called sickness. Okay? These are just different layers that you can easily manipulate yourself. So really learning terrain modification, remember, is a lot of work. Why? Because there's a lot of things you got to optimize. So once you sort of figure out that you have to optimize a lot of things, then, well, you just do them a little bit at a time. It makes sense to you only when you know that what you're doing is really not optimal. So choose your addictions. Remember, get some good addictions on your side. Choose what addictions that you want to tame down, and in time, maybe not have anymore. Okay? You make space, you can actually change yourself. You can't change yourself too easily unless you make space so you can. It's like breaking up with your girlfriend and all of a sudden now you're not doing what you're doing, and you go out and do something different, and you find out that what you did was now very enlightening to you, and you do this all the time now because you had space. Because before, You were doing what you were doing. Maybe the same thing over and over and over again, and now all of a sudden you didn't have that variable, and you went out to experience something else, and you found something that you really enjoy. I don't care if it was riding the spin bike or going on a nature hike. Remember, spend time in nature. You want to lose your addictions and get back to nature. Get back to being more authentic. You know, a little more philosophical, but it's what it is. We are here on the planet not to destroy anything. We're here to be Earth stewards. We're here to take care of the planet. We're here to do things that would make sense instead of do things that would make sense only if you're a virus. So, you know, cleaning up our addictions and making space for even making a garden. Okay? Have an addiction to growing your own food. Have an addiction to staying healthy. Have an addiction to, well, maybe being social and being happy. An addiction to happiness. Wait a minute. That sounds like something everybody may want to have. Health, wealth, and happiness. What an addiction. So work yourself a little at a time. Go up the ladder, like I said. Change your shower to chlorinator. Change your pots and pans. Not to the cheap ceramic pans. The ones we have at Earthshift, those are good ones. They're from Germany. It's the best ones I've found. You know, everything in our lives pretty much has to be upgraded. You'll see. So you just do it, like I said, a little bit at a time. And upgrading it also is, remember, it's not just upgrading your household, but it's upgrading maybe your friends that maybe don't want to change their addictions and they keep wanting to pull you in, keep pulling you back into the dark side, whatever way it may be. I don't care if it's gambling, I don't care if it's drugs, or even going to the doctor all the time and getting pharmaceuticals. Don't you think that's an addiction? Look at all the people addicted to Valium. Look at all the people addicted to antidepressants. Look at all the people addicted to sodas, caffeine. Okay, the addictions are, well, they're everywhere. How many addictions do you have? That's the question. And how many addictions do you want to choose to let go and make space so you can get in some better ones? Okay, so remember, most of the changing of yourself is psychology. It's to learn there's something behind you that's letting you do things that you know personally you should not be doing. Remember, there's a very smart semi-autonomous energy field. It changes to its liking and, of course, to its needs. Remember, these are very genius parasites. Some are physical, some are ethereal or mental. You've heard of somebody saying you've got mind viruses? Does that make sense why you like to have drama, why you like to fight, why you like to control? So changing your food, your liquids, to a less contaminated or non-contaminated diet, which we call the supernatural lifestyle, is the best thing, like I said, I've ever found to do. It does take time and it does take work. Everything takes work that's good. Everything. But once you get good, it's easy to maintain. It's very easy for me to maintain. Remember, like I said, again, I'm 54 years old, okay? And my body is, to me, very vital and strong. I manipulate the world here in a good way only because I can navigate it. I can walk, I can run, I can move my body very efficiently. I feel very light. I'm not gravitationally bound because I don't have all this baggage. Remember, I had 40 pounds of baggage that I lost. 40 pounds. It's easy to lose baggage. You just have to be disciplined enough and smart enough, really, to be able to change things one step at a time. Okay, have fun in your terrain modification. Try to bring your friends involved also. Get your friends involved. Remember, this is the best kept secret in town. It's not cool anymore to get sick. Before it was, okay, what sickness do you have? Well, I've got diabetes, and well, I take antidepressants, and I take all of this. Okay? Now it's cool to be able to say how you changed yourself from being sick to being healthy, wealthy, happy, and wise. That's a better program than walking around in misery and complaining all the time, saying that my doctor's doing this and I went to the hospital and not, complaining all day about your back hurting, complaining all day because you have headaches. Why? It's because your body's clogged, it's toxic. Learn the skin cleaning procedures, the pore opening procedures. Okay, protocols, very simple. We have hundreds of videos, like I said, on YouTube, but the videos you want to see are on Earther Academy, which is what it is. So what someone else does to take care of their car sometimes may be very beneficial to see if you want to clean your car that way, or if you want to take care of your car this way. And I'm only showing you how I take care of my car, and how thousands, tens of thousands of other people around the world have stepped up to this idea: terrain modify everything. And that just means optimize everything, and you will have to relearn a lot of things. But then again, what else do you got to do, right? Live in ignorance? Or would you like to keep on poisoning yourself? And if you do, remember, in time, you will have to figure out, remember, blue pill or the red pill. Choose. Stay where you're at, or come over to a side that looks like it's actually optimizing, and the people that are here are really wanting to take care of themselves and take care of the planet and be nice to each other instead of be dysfunctional and barbaric. Okay? When we get toxic in our bodies, we get dysfunctional. We have dysfunctional feelings, thoughts. We're aggravated very easily. You can't sleep at night. What happens to you? You're a grump. Got nickel poisoning, arsenic poisoning, thallium poisoning, stainless steel. All these different heavy metals make you so you can't bloody well sleep. Wi-Fi next to your bed, shut that stuff off. Okay, so learn the booby traps. Exchange your liquids and foods for highly mineralized, non-GMO, real food. Don't eat any more fast food. Remember, you take away the S, you get fat. Take your clothes off and look and see if you're happy where you're at. And it's not just ego, it's actually your machine. It's your church. It's your temple. Take care of your temple. And as you do, it will take care of you. You need a body to navigate in the third dimension. Yes, you do. So it's a miraculous thing right now. You got one. So take care of it. It's the best car you're going to own, and that's the only car you've got right now. So, if it's not working so good, rebuild it. I had to rebuild mine. Massive car accident. Okay, over time, just doing foolish things, wearing myself out. Rebuilding yourself is possible. Rejuvenating yourself is possible. Many do it. But then again, are you ready to do the work? Okay, we've got it laid out for you on Earther Academy. We've got all the products for you at earthshiftproducts.com. Straight on the internet, wholesale direct, free shipping. All you got to do now is just pay attention. That's what it costs. You have to pay attention. So there we go. All right, aloha and have fun. All right, aloha.
Important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.